Here is Kwanzaa, everyone. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa to you, Sister Kara.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Welcome, everyone, to our Kwanzaa celebration. And this is actually the second year, if we haven't mentioned it, that we have done or celebrated Kwanzaa via live stream. We want everyone to be safe and healthy. And doing it this way kind of lets you be in the comfort of your own home and to welcome Kwanzaa into your personal living spaces. Um, we're on day 6, and day 1 we started with unity and celebrating the community. Day 2, self determination. We're seeking and we will be focusing on the next 365 days on self determination and how are we going to create and recreate ourselves as not only individuals but as a community. And then day 3, we talked about collective work and responsibility. And day 4, we talked about cooperative economics. And all of these principles are meant to build upon one another. And so yesterday we talked about Nia, which is purpose. And I'm so happy to have Sister Kara back with us. She's been our main Kwanzaa leader for this holiday, Kwanzaa holiday season. If you can hear my music in the background, I'm playing Africa by John Coltrane, the master himself. And back when I started celebrating Kwanzaa, there was always music associated with the Kwanzaa celebration. So each day it was like much like the Christmas season that has songs associated with it. And so Africa was the song that was selected to be played on day 6, which is today. Kuumba, creativity. And I am so excited to welcome back Sister Kara to lead us in a discussion on creativity and how it relates to Kwanzaa, to our community, to we as a people. And so the teaching that I remember associated with Kuumba is to always uh, do to always do as much as we can to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited it. So, with that being said, Sister Kara, please take us away.
Yes. Today is my favorite day of the Kwanzaa celebration. It's the celebration of creativity. And like Miss Bernadine said, it is a celebration and a call for us to do as much as we can in all the ways that we can to leave our community more beautiful and more beneficial than that which we inherited. Creativity is viewed as an act of restoration. It's a way for us to repair and to remake the world. As Miss Bernadine said, every principle of Kwanzaa builds upon the last and builds upon all the others. And creativity is the form in which we find different ways, creative ways to live out our purpose, to develop our communities economically, to define ourselves as a people. From Muddy Waters and Marian Anderson to Augusta Savage and Jean-Michel Basquiat to James Baldwin and Nell Larson, Black creatives have utilized their artistic gifts across all of our known mediums to craft and shape their world, to raise cultural consciousness, and to redefine what it means to be, as Nina Simone sang, young, gifted, and Black in the nation and in nations around the world. Despite the limitations in the past few years that I have felt on my own creative energies, I'm proud to call myself a poet, a writer, an artist, and a singer. These are gifts I claim as forms of creative service to my creator and as gifts reflective of the legacy of my ancestors, and especially my parents, who ensured our home was always filled with music and art and words, with fresh flowers, good cooking, and so many other creative gifts to draw from. Tonight, I'm going to be reading 7 poems that are all in some way celebrating, commemorating, memorializing, or honoring Black history and heritage. The first poem is an ode to creativity, to progress, and to defining ourselves and our world. And it's called Just the Air Outside. You cannot make while sitting still. Not a one of us can. This is why we swim the womb, and when we burst, we come with whirling limbs and screamings. This, our first kiss of native air, caresses our lungs with the knowledge of space, our space, a world now ours for the pluck and take. This the reason we take to roads, trilling with windows down and wind heavy breathing. Like resting on a mother's chest, we long for something steady and even, for paths that never stop us, leave us, waiting on one soul or another but our own, to blend and fuse itself, spirit and mind, sweet as a cave where every echo is our own. Breathe in and out. Take that moment back and trance into all these cerulean walls palm down upon us. Learn to move and smile, pen and name, hum and soak in the skin of a stranger. Cleave to that window seat within you. Find balance in a womb of grass and concrete. No music but the sound of your own buzz. Let all this draw you out and see. This next poem is a celebration and honoring of our ancestors. I've brought up Sankofa, I think, almost every day I've presented this Kwanzaa. It's a theme that I love because of its reminder to learn from those who have come before and to carry them with us now and into our future. This poem is called To Sleep, Perchance to Dream. You may dream if you wish of the old ones with their bare backs bent low into flowing sheets of cotton, or place them in their younger skins on concrete paths to freedom. Freedom, oh freedom, where they drag and mule until their knees are bare and bloody and peel down to the bone for you, all child for you, where the skins of their tongues press up into the palate and stay there for ages, for eons, until pens ring like Jubilee. Or if you wish, you may dream them back in sugarcane, where daddy calls woman's mouth sweet and presses her closer than his own bones, under sparkling northern stars that call them to rise, rise up and walk, ascend like Lazarus from those unclayed tombs, and the cracks of horn and the whispers of leather on a bare back, whispering, you mine now, you mine. You may dream them ancient if you wish. Place them up and avian, where they sink into the night on glassy plumes, over delta, over rich green and blue water turned muddy, from the worries of the wind that takes them up from a field and over into promise, or deep in the midlands where the skeletons of trees rattle their bones for you, all child for you, where the tongues of the fathers and the forefathers are still sacred, secret like waking up from every night that ever was. The next poem is a longer poem in 25 short sections called 115. At the time of its writing, that was the number of Black men and women recognized in Say Their Name memorializations across this country. And I share this poem as a reminder that we as a people have a legacy of taking what is meant to destroy us and turning it into beauty, and of turning our despair into hope for our nation. 115. 1. The rule, my son, is to keep thy hands up, and for God's sake, keep breathing. 2. I can't breathe. The world rocks, my spirit to the floor. One of these mornings, it won't be very long. 3. You will look for me, but I'm already gone. Maybe I will rise up from fear. Maybe I will go down in fear. 4. And Lord, if I die, let my life be more than taglines. Let my legacy be legacy. 5. Save the hashtags. Hashtag for another day. 6. The year is 1865. The year is 1955. The year is 1990. The year is 2003. The year is 2021. 7. The line is still breathing. The line is still trying. The line is still aching. The line is still dying. 8. Just because we are magic does not mean we are not also. 9. Reeling, trusting there's a lifeline to hold on to, caught on the hook and reeling, praying for an end to the tide. 10. All I have are words, buzzing like bees, running like water, piercing like knives, heavy as the weight of Atlas. Where are you, O mighty ancient, when the world rolls heavy and southward and pins us to thy mighty spine? 11. Please don't tell me how to save my own life when the radio sign is always 007. The streets have a license to kill, and all I have is a black card. 12. Take a moment to breathe deep the last breath of male, black, sitting on a swing, impossibly young when 2 shots ripped youth at the seams, rattling baby breaths and silence. In time, child, you too can be forgotten, etched memory in earth beneath which you once dared to run. 13. What were the magic words that taught our people to fly? Where is the spell that will keep us alive? 14. I don't think I can go on, my tongue, too thick with words unspoken, a pain too deep and heavy to bear, in the space between breath and the anchor of teeth that would rather shatter than speak. One more time, enough is enough, is enough, is enough, is enough, is enough, is enough. 15. And my insides are hollow. I fill the space of my womb with the dreams of kings and the hope that someday we shall overcome. What will be the afterbirth of another tomorrow? 16. Disparity. When we fear the night's darkness, we turn on a light. See, we shudder the dark, but don't tell it to die. We cherish the stars, yes, in spite of the sky. There's peace in the night. We don't tell it to die. 17. There must be a reason. There must be a reason. This reaching ever for a why is as barren as strange fruit dangling from the vine for any hand to pluck. But before it hits the ground, we ask it, why? 18. Mother Emmanuel, I almost forgot your cries. the river of pain flowing in yellow lines from iron posts that hold your upright frame. Your name whispers embers, spinning fragments of God with us. You wrap your arms around the living, you who madmen made a grave. 19. There is nothing to fear but fear itself, and what fear can do. And that fear is the obsidian spider, and that fear is the hand that sweeps it down and stamps it out. And that fear is the hammer and the stop and the bullet and the blood. And there is nothing to fear but fear itself and what fear can do. 20. America, O child of the new world, you kiss with iron and steel. You never heed your mother's warnings to look both ways before you cross that road. To know when no means no. To kill with kindness, no, with kindness, no, with kindness. 21. Maybe pain won't conquer. Maybe we can use our hands to make the world beautiful again. Maybe hate won't win. Maybe we can make us all beautiful again. 22. Sun, we cut you from the evening sky and dotted your dreams with stars. We forget the darkness in you. We forgive the darkness in you. We watch you laugh and scream with joyous fists up against your ancient home and wonder where the world will spin you. We say your name. We hold you up in twilighting shadows, praying even the moon rays don't pierce you like the forked tongue of modern justice. We pray you never fall, blood for blood. We pray you, blood for blood. 23. I hear sirens singing Emily Dickinson, because I could not stop for death. Hear the roar of a world I tremble to touch, to tough, to toast, to walk, to death, to breathe, to death, to kneel, to death, to reach, to death. I hear sirens singing, Emily Dickinson, he knew no haste. 24. Daughter, I carry you in my mouth, with the names of every sister whose name goes unspoken when the day is done. I give you all the names there have ever been, secreting only one for myself, and that is my own, and that you take with you. My every breath, your every breath. And forgive me when I don't hold back, clench my jaw to keep you safe, not statistic, not sambic with the melody of death that breathes its own cadence to the rhythm you dance upon my vocal cords. I speak you every moment, every breath into being, and leave you every moment, every breath being. 25. Black is a magic that cannot be qualified. To hash, to hold, to rise in the wake of another wake. One of these mornings, it won't be very long. Magic spread deep from a home of darkened hips, the hyssop of our mother's womb. To hinge, to hope, you will look for me. Spread wings of Corvus over and over in dreams we ache to reel, to peel back this sorcerous skin, this magic, and I'll be gone. These next three poems are cultural celebrations of hair, of food, and of women. First, a poem to Black hair, my kitchen. To my kitchen. My hair has a kitchen, and it's a hot mess. Lord, how I wish for a comb like the whip for Elijah's chariot, one hot with fire, yet soothing for the soul. Still, the stove in my kitchen needs a good scrub down, a good soak and gristle cleanse, burnt fresh, In Mama's refining fire, still they say, what do I know of my roots? Were there kinks like mine on the sweaty napes of old souls bent into the heat of the Nile? Did they cross the Mississippi like my mother's, crossed that great ocean of ripples and waves buried in the hull of a hell womb? What were we what we were then belonged in the eye and ear of God. And the Lord said, let it be coarse and mighty to break the teeth of ivory combs. Let it loft and toss in breezes, fresh crow, feather fallen from cumulus heights. But dear Lord, don't I love it natural, this kink and kiss of coils, collecting rusty hues and wild as lion breath puffed through the savannah heat. And amen, sings the cutlery. Amen, the unfettered curls. My hair has a kitchen, yes, but Lord, ain't it wild as the Serengeti? This next poem is a culinary celebration titled Glory Greens. Mama says our blood ought to be green by now. Mama used to slice into an avocado like a surgeon, give it a twist akin to sister's hips on Saturday nights, suckle the meat on her tongue with lemon juice and a dash of paprika, and serve every dish with a heap of kale that slipped eel slide down your throat. Mama says our ancestors carried sesame seeds for luck, tucked in the hollows of ears for safekeeping, that if we raked the Atlantic Ocean floor, we'd find black bones and bene waiting to be baked into sweet and savory wafers. Mama says okra was meant to keep our hearts open like palms, passed out as it has been passed down, filling us up, reminding us what it means to be full. Mama used to fill a pot with water and tell us everything can be gumbo, just like anything could be goulash if you added potatoes. Mama used to slice collards like plantation fields, just so. Mama says rice is best dirty, and the one difference between cornbread and cake is only honey and skip the greens. This next poem is titled and serves as an ode to women. We have been woman, and what we been go deeper than womb skin. Worn skin it be, a kind of magic only our hand can touch. When midnight fall, that when we shine, jewel in the water. We been underside of so many stones, and roots we got soil in our bones, and when them bones break, we suck it up. Keep our power. That what has always been. We always done it well. We've been ageless, born like shell cling to hull, cross the water. All the world pause and tremble, knowing we got sun running through our veins. And when the waters fall back, we be there, unrelented. We got no room for soft shades, gentle touch. So when the fire burn, we leap too, let the embers crush against our palms. So when we press them up against the backs of men, they know the power of our hips and thighs, the milk of Canaan roaring through our veins. We've been woman long time, and when the night come, we rise. Take hold of the moon's shadow, crush it in our teeth, soothe the crying honey tot with our sighs, and spin them mends like pebbles with our thighs. And finally, this last poem is a recreated sonnet and a tribute to the tale of the flying Africans. It's a celebration of our ancestry, our legacy, and our power as a people. This poem is called The People Who Fly. Kumyali Kumbuba Tambe. We the people who once had wings. We fly, like blackbirds, like wind, like we air. We climb, like we ladders. We touch clouds, like rain. On tin roofs, like water on road, like chain glistens silver, we fly like gold. Crow in the blood, shadow, smoke like ash, like dust. Climb the field, we soar, we roar like rust. We ride the hot breeze, breathe promise, be soul. We got wind in the back, up like starlings, floored like night. Remember our quills and spines. We rise up one day and be gone. Thank you. That's it. So I will bring back Miss Bernadine for conversation, questions, and whatever else we have.
Wow, beautiful. Um, all of it. It's this is Kuumba that we're celebrating today, and everything that you spoke, which, by the way, we could never say it enough. That these are the words, the inspired words of our resident facilitator, Sister Khara House. And I see a question. Do you have a book, Miss House? And if not, when will it be available?
Thank you for the question. I do not have a book, but I really need to. I think that has been one of the lessons of COVID and the past couple of years has just been, those moments when everything seems kind of bleak and hard and everything that we've been living through as America, as a culture. Those are the times when it's easy to let things like poetry slide and go to the side. And what I'm finding more and more now is those are really the times when we need to hold on to that and bring it forward and let those words speak and so it's something that I'm hoping to bring back into practice going into 2022. And as we're challenging ourselves to live the principles of Kwanzaa for the whole year, this is one that I definitely want to um, put a lot of time into practicing.
So, and this is one of the things that we always would do on the last day of Kwanzaa. Um, when we were celebrating in person, we would ask everyone that was celebrating with us to share that one thing that they wanted to focus on for the next 365 days or until we met again to celebrate Kwanzaa. And so, as a community, um, not only as a community, as you say that, um, and I'm going to call you now Baby Queen. No one else can call you Baby Queen but me. I take special rights to do that. But I'm remembering a conversation that I wished we could have had um, live last evening after the live stream, and um, um, Sister Mayor Coral, Sister Doctor Coral was still with us, and we had this conversation about. Um, no coincidence that you should be the Kwanzaa leader for most of our celebratory evenings. This is what we do in our culture. You being the younger sister, it is our responsibility as a community to walk with you and to support you and do whatever it is that we can do to nurture you, to help you grow, to help you mature, to fulfill your dreams and destiny. And that's what this is all about. And that's what Kwanzaa is all about. So now that you have put it out there to the community, then now it is our collective responsibility. Every time we see you, hey, what are you doing? Have you been doing some writing, or have you looked up a publishing company? Can we expect a book? Are you going to be reading somewhere soon so we can come and support you, or join in online and support you? That is what community does. And that is what now we have pledged our commitment to you to do. And outside of this, not just being this is what we do as people of African descent, but this is what women should do. Women support, so women support women. And so we're excited. Truly, your words this evening have been a blessing to us all. And as you were reading all of your work, and I'm thinking, how does this definitely is Kuumba. This is definitely, thank you for taking me back to what Kuumba meant, to be in a house on that evening that we were celebrating Kuumba, and music and drumming and dancing and singing and poetry, and all of the things that we do to express ourselves. And in all of your work, I was just writing what I was hearing and what my takeaway, and I have a long list here. I mean, you spoke to our freedom. You mentioned our ancestors. You remembered um, so many of us that are no longer here, who have become ancestors probably earlier than we should have expected. You talked about our mysticism and our connection to the divine, our connection to nature, our struggle to be in the skin that we're in, but yet we continue to pray and overcome. Um, what inspires you when you're writing? What do you do? Does it
Yeah,
just happen, or do you sit down, play some Coltrane, some Miles Davis, light some candles, burn some incense, and just let it flow? What do you do?
it's a combination of all of the above. It's often, something will come up that it's just, I've got to put something down. I've got to write something to get this out. With the 115 poem, that was one where I told myself to just keep writing until I couldn't anymore, because it was hard. And I think I had heard just the statistic of 115 Black men and women who had been killed when they were unarmed for one reason or another, with interactions with our criminal justice system. And I remember when I was writing that, by the time I got maybe halfway through it, the number had increased by another like 10 or 20 people. So it's just those moments where something just kind of like sticks in your craw, and you just got to get something out. The other thing that I noticed when I was pulling the different poems was that I think almost all of them had some reference to The People Could Fly. that's just a story that just sticks with me. And I think if anything, if there was a focus or a theme that ran through any sort of collection that I did eventually do, that would have to be part of it. And just that idea of, because I think that that's so expressive of Black creativity and recreation and defining our own freedom, is that
Mhm.
idea that we were so clinging to the concept of freedom that we were able to grow wings and actually fly. Or we were so rebellious against the idea of slavery, or rebelling to the idea of slavery, that we could turn and walk across the water back home. Um, that we define what our life and what our death means within our community is so beautiful to me. And so finding ways to bring that into different poetic verses, definitely a constantly running theme.
It really is. And, you spoke to all of the things um, that we are, all of the things that are sacred to our culture, like our crowns, our hair. And I have to say again, the fro. That is that, and the way we braid our hair um, is something so sacred. Our fros are our halos, our crowns, and so I have to acknowledge and bow to your divinity, because you are definitely wearing that fro, and it's taking me back, and that's a beautiful thing. And then what about our food? Food is very, very, and as is in most cultures. Um, I There is something sacred um, in how we prepare our food, and that getting ready to sit down and break bread with others. What say you?
Yeah, I agree. I think I was just having a conversation the other day with my dad about some of the pleasant memories with my mom, and how many of them were in the kitchen for one reason or another. Some were her gentleness when it came to mistakes that I made in the kitchen, like scrubbing out her cast iron pan. Um, Yes, big mistake. She was very kind in her response to that. There being a time where she burned rice, and she was very proud of her cooking. And I came up with a compliment for the burnt part and just said, in some cultures, this burnt portion is like a delicacy. So this is great. And her thing just being, you didn't have to say that. I burnt it. It's fine. But, just finding those moments of connection around food, whether it was teaching how to cook, or just the joy that I remember in watching either my mom or my dad cook. My dad jokes about a fake TV show that he hosts when he's cooking, called The Man Show, of how put a dish together, and when you're just pulling things that you have out of the refrigerator. And I think that's so symbolic, though, of Black culture, is taking what's left over, just those remnant ingredients, and finding a way to make a full dish out of it that
Yes,
tastes amazing.
yes,
I think of like the Christmas holiday, where my dad would make a casserole for brunch, and the things that he would just toss into the pot, seemingly. I know he was thinking through the ingredients, but if you watched, it just seemed like he was just putting things in to test how it would turn out. And there would be things going in there that you think, there is no way I am eating that. That's not going to be any good. And it was always amazing. And that is, I think, just again, so emblematic of Black creativity is that we can take things that you don't think should work out well and turn it into something beautiful and delicious and soul serving and spiritual and just beautiful overall, and share that out then to our families and to our friends and to the rest of the world. It's just a beautiful gift that comes from our cultural heritage.
It is our legacy, right? Where, I mean, we literally had to take or accept nothing but make something out of ourselves, for ourselves, by ourselves.
Mhm.
And they wonder how we're still here. And that is that mysticism, that connection to the divine, that grace of the divine, um, that that we have and are able to do what we do, whatever it is that we have been called to do. And then lastly, your last poem, your ode to women, um, and our mothers, our our mentors, our aunties, our grandmas, our umis, as I like in the African culture, our umis, our grandmothers, our nanas. Um, so many beautiful women in our lives, and the woman being the keeper, the sacred keeper of the culture, the giver of life. Um, who's the most phenomenal woman in your life?
Oh, goodness. Uh, I'm going to be careful answering that because it is a long-standing joke in the House family that different aunts would call themselves your favorite, and you knew better than to agree with with any one of them. Um, but what I will say is that the probably the two most influential women in my life have been my two grandmothers, my paternal and my maternal grandmother, both of whom are passed, but both of whom I still draw from. I borrow words and phrasing from them, and just remember like how they would deal with different situations, or the just the amazing amount of love and care that they would show for everyone in the family, just how important you felt. Both my paternal grandmother and her sisters, there was a way that, I mean, we would joke you could literally hand them a stick with dirt on it and they would make it feel like you had given them jewels. But it was just their way of making everything about you feel special and loved and just valued. Although they could also very quickly put you in your place if you stepped out of line. Um, and even then, you knew I don't want to be on grandmom's bad side, but I still know, even if she has to correct me, she's doing it with love, which almost made it hurt a little bit more because you knew I've disappointed this person uh, who loves me despite all of my flaws, um, and makes me feel this valued, that this is so disappointing to her. Um, so yeah, they are the two who just stand out immediately as the key figures in my life. But I mean, I have been blessed with countless women who have spoken into my life and just shaped who I am. I think I would be remiss if I didn't say that you are among them. Yourself
Oh,
and Dr. Evans and Miss Deb and Dr. Tam, just so many people within our community who have made me feel like I have family here and who make me feel all that more committed to this community as my community just by being part of it.
what a blessing. And that is Umoja. That is what unity is all about. And that is what collectively the responsibility is that we have to each other. And Chiefess Deb mentioned that when she talked about when she was the Kwanzaa leader for collective work and responsibility. No man is an island, but not only that, we take that further and take responsibility that we should not let others feel like they are alone or in it by themselves. And so you are a blessing to us as well. And it really has been a blessing to have you on this week to lead us through this celebration. And not only are we celebrating as a community, but you as the younger soul of the community. Um, we're celebrating you as well, and we see your promise. We see all the possibilities. We support you in all that you're doing now, and you're out here already. You're doing work for your community and trying to take a strategic position in the community, and so we have to commit ourselves to supporting you, and that we do, and that we will be doing for these next coming months until we meet again, only to have to give a report. Then you'll give a report about maybe some published work, or a book will then be in the making, whatever is going on. That's why we come together as a community to uphold, support, and celebrate each other. And so, with that being said, we invite all of our viewers, all of our supporters. First, thank you for joining us. Please, we're just putting a pause in the celebration. Tomorrow is our last evening to celebrate Kwanzaa. So, please join us again on tomorrow. Until then, blessed are you, Sister Kara. Blessed are your hands. There's that magic hand that lights our candle. And blessed are all of you who have joined us live and will see this uh, as a recording. Bless you all. Please come back and share with us tomorrow. And until then, live and go in grace.